Welcome to Behind the Scenes. We have a special guest today, Scott Bregman from the Olympic Channel, formerly of USA Gymnastics, which will be very important soon. Today's show is brought to you by the return of Katelyn freaking Ohashi. You guys, I'm so excited. We're going to tell you how to watch Katelyn Ohashi and Jade Carey tomorrow, Saturday, at American Cup. USA Championships are happening with the acro and rhythmic and all of that on Saturday and today. And we have new NCAA rules that we're going to talk about. And we'll tell you how they affect your favorite college gymnast. And we have the new qualifiers to Rotterdam Worlds from the Asian Championships. And we have a sneak peek at our new Roster Lab, which will help you select your teams. We're going to debate whether Disclosure Day was a good movie or not.
Oh, yeah, I forgot we're doing that. I'm so excited.
We both have very strong feelings about it, and mine are correct. So welcome to GymCastic. This is our live behind-the-scenes Q&A that we do every Friday or right after our competition. And to listen to the full extended episode, you can join Club Gym Nerd or just log into your Club Gym Nerd account. Today is June 26th, and let's talk about the breaking news first. Ohashi is back. Katelyn Ohashi, viral sensation from UCLA. She was our 2020, what Olympics would she have been?
She would have been eligible for Rio.
Rio Olympic star, the last gymnast to beat Simone. She was the first gymnast to beat Simone in the all-around before Kyla beat.
Just stop talking. She was. Stop. She was the second to last woman to beat Simone in the all-around when she won the American Cup in 2013. Kyla Ross went on to beat Simone a couple of weeks later at a little tri-meet in Germany. And then, of course, we kind of have some like debates here and there of like, does this count or does that count? With like Suni Lee beating her in the all-around just the second day of the 2021 Olympic trials. But overall, Simone won that meet, so she never really technically lost. But that's the stat on Katelyn regarding Simone. So just focus a little more, Jess. You can do it.
I was like, people have sort of beaten her, then really beaten her. And then anyway, she was amazing and very, very good. And she had that viral routine. It was the Tina Turner routine. And she did the split leg double layout in that routine, a la Gutsu, which we only see in like tumbling ever done, the actual sport of tumbling. And she competed pre-NILs, but she graduated just in time to actually make money off of that routine, and she has done so well for herself. And so if you want to watch her and Jade Carey tomorrow, there's no way to get the scores, but you can watch on Flip TV and watch them there. Scott, tell us about, when you were at USA Gymnastics, one of the things you changed is like USAG would take down any videos at the time, this was the Steve Penny era, of anything any fans put up, even though there was no other way to watch competitions. Even I remember like there was a junior meet in Japan and USAG took the videos down. But you changed that. Tell us about how Ohashi affected that.
Yeah, Katelyn was kind of my first proof point because it was 2011. I had just started at USA Gymnastics and I was like, we should be posting these videos. And they were like, well, for juniors, we can, sure, whatever. Like, they didn't care. They were like, no one wants to watch this. So I just remember they gave me a monopod and like the cheapest like camera they had lying around. And it was just me. I had to like run around the floor and then run back to my desk and upload and like whatever. But I was only allowed to post, this is in the Kathy Kelly era, I was only allowed to post routines that were hit routines. So I was actually just watching this routine this week because of the Ohashi news. I saw it came back into my feed. I think Pam Jinkova or someone had posted it. And it's her 2011 beam routine. She does like Arabian to flip-flop, and then she does flip-flop, layout full, and like hits them both. And I'm like, oh my God, like, yes, this is like, I want to post this. And then she does like 2 arm waves on the switch ring. And I just actually watching it, even though it was 15 years ago, I was like, oh my God, I remember being like, please stay on the beam because I need to post this. And she does, and it's a great routine, of course. And but like the next morning it had like 20 or 25,000 views. And that was sort of like the first proof point I had to be like, hey, see, there are people that want to watch junior US gymnastics. And then I think by 2012 we were posting every routine, so there was quick adoption. But it did start with being able to point to Katelyn's routine and say, hey, look, people are watching this.
And you even used to give us like, when it was a podium training day, you would go and give us like Romania and China and like whatever, Russia, like the teams that people really wanted to see. And yeah, Anthony says.
Oh, I'm supposed to read this?
You're the reader. You have to read.
Well,
I
he
can't
spelled
read out loud.
it's a compliment, but he did spell my name wrong. I've only ever heard Scott Bregman. Never realized he was hot. Well, thank you. That's very sweet.
That's on the rule on the show. It's only hotties.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think will be the hardest part about this comeback for Kate?
Yeah, I think we talked about this because I think I was on the show several times in 24. We were talking about Gabby probably all the time. And I think, and I feel the same way, like obviously I was not an Olympic gold medalist or on the national team or whatever, but in my head, I haven't done gymnastics since 2009. I can still feel how to do your Chinko double twist or Arabian double pike. It's like in my mind. I did so many of them for so many years, but like my body, if I went to try it, like I would just die. I would tear everything and then I would land on my head and die. So like the gymnastics is not the hardest part. That's what I think people don't understand. And it's a different bag for someone like Katelyn. Like so for her, I think it's the biggest challenge is getting in shape, getting those muscles that like I don't know how much gymnastics she was doing between. I know she did the tour in. Did she do the she did the tour
Both
in
of them, yeah.
21 and 24. So she was doing a little bit of gymnastics there. But I don't know how much gymnastics she was doing. So it's getting those muscles because you can go to the gym every day, you can run every day, but like even like the reach back on a flip flop is something you don't like. I get stars in my eyes now if I do a standing back tuck. Like it's just this like gymnastics muscle set and skill set that is probably going to be the hardest part for her because I think that the skills are still in her head if her body can respond well enough to do them. And then that I think it's kind of interesting. It's a different challenge than say like Amari Celestine. And of course I don't know what all of the skills Amari's ever trained, but like she might be learning new skills and that's obviously I think more difficult or can be more difficult, especially at like 22. So yeah, I think those are the two different challenges facing sort of the two sort of comebacks that we have. I mean, Jade, like, was she really away from the sport? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't really think so. I mean, I think this generation of like very wise of like staying in gymnastics shape means you have more opportunities. So you don't have to compete, but just make sure that you don't need 2 years to come back to your gymnastics shape to do stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that was one of the really smart things that Kate did. Like, she had 4 years between tours, but she was able to come back and tumble and, do that stuff. And what do you think the veterans bring when they come back?
I think, and again, I know we talked about this with Gabby. I just think it's like they just know they've just done it before. And you can't, when you've been at that level, like look at like, well, I guess we'll see how it goes next week. But I know you love talking about tennis on this podcast. I also like Spencer, also really enjoy tennis. And so look at Serena Williams. She's 44 years old and she's going to Wimbledon next week. And I think in her mind, she probably believes she can win. And maybe she will, and maybe she won't. But like, there's just a mindset that they bring, having been at that level, that is just so, so valuable. Look at Suni. I mean, like, and I think Gabby was actually closer than her results showed in 2024.
Yep.
But look at Suni. Like, Suni, like, people were doubting her, Jessica.
I never doubted her. I cared about her ankles. I never said she shouldn't do all around. I said, should she just focus so she can save her ankles? If she needs an ankle transplant someday, then I will be right and you'll be wrong. But I never doubted her. She's amazing. I just care about her body more than everyone else.
You may end up being right and me being wrong, but you know what? Suni Lee will still be one of 5 women who owns 2 Olympic all-around medals. So I think she's gonna be okay with it.
I think so too.
But no, I think it's just they know their bodies, they know what it takes to be at that level. And like I'm sure that even for Jade, I think tomorrow, I'm sure there will be nerves, and I'm sure there will be a lot of nerves for Katelyn. She hasn't competed, even if she's done gymnastics, she hasn't competed since 2019 NCAAs. So that's a long time ago.
Linda wants to know, do we know what event she's doing? Just beam, right?
I've heard she's training beam and floor, and I think she's only doing beam. But I've also seen people posting she's doing floor tomorrow too, but there's no official roster out as far as I know.
Anthony says.
Wasn't expecting her to compete so soon. How long has Katelyn been training?
Hmm.
Well, I mean, I think I don't want to be like, ooh, we had secrets, but Jessica and I can keep some secrets. I think we had heard about obviously she's been in the gym more than since Tuesday when she announced. So I think she's probably been in the gym half a year, like doing gymnastics
Minimum, yeah.
training. Yeah. So
Um, so do we need these women doing the all around if they're gonna make a major? You know how I feel about specialists. And you
I know
know,
you do.
Scott.
I know, but like and we can talk a lot about, and I know you guys have about um, Alicia, Betty, and Chelsea and their perspectives, and but I think that you need to have something on everything. So I think like if you're gonna say you're a beam and floor specialist, you need to be top 8 on those events in the world.
I
You need to
agree.
be able to make the apparatus final on those events. And I think so, using that example, I think for Ohashi, she needs a Yurchenko full,
Mhm.
just in case. And she needs to be able to score a 12.5 or 13 on bars, because I just don't think that they're gonna take someone given like look at Tokyo, look at Jocelyn Robertson in Antwerp. I'm sure they're look at like at Pan Am Championships last week. uh, Hesley goes out in the first rotation. Richardson goes out in the warm up. So like I just think that like you have to have something. I don't think that you can be a true specialist and make the US team unless maybe, and I don't think this is happening, Simone were to come back and have like a 14-9 on floor or on vault or on whatever event, maybe. But I think even then they would encourage her to probably do the all around. But you know what I mean? Like it has to be like out of this world.
Yeah.
And I
And I
and I still think that they are going to be really hesitant because they've had so many, especially recently, experiences where they've needed someone who just had to get a score, or they would have been eighth in the final in Tokyo.
and then we look at what happened at Pan Am's. I mean, not only did the US not like allegedly didn't get an email from USAG about the vaccinations they needed, especially yellow fever, until 2 days before they were supposed to leave. But it said 10 days before you leave, you have to get yellow fever vaccine. And then there's multiple athletes from, I think it's Jamaica, and multiple coaches who got yellow fever while they were there. Or dengue. No, dengue is what they got, not yellow fever. And dengue, there's a vaccine for that too. But it's just like, you never know what's going to happen. And in LA, we have everything here. You don't know. We could have any number of issues at an Olympics. Or you just have to have people that are ready and healthy. Oh, and then we had Paris at camp. People had that crazy. What did they have? It was like
There was some stomach
coli or
flu, right?
something. Yeah.
Yeah, E. coli or something that, that's why that was what was affecting Jade. So,
Kathy says. Hi, Kathy.
do you think it's best for potential former elites collegiate athletes to compete for other countries like Finnegan, or the depth in the US isn't what it was and they should stick with the US?
It depends what your level is.
Right. Certainly I think right now it's not the it's not the 2021 trials, which I think was probably one of the like deepest meets in recent history. And 24 wasn't bad, but then three of them went down. That probably would have made the team almost, or certainly two, if not three, that would have made the team in 24. Um, that being said, it is certainly not. We're not where the U.S. used to be, and I think that's why I think first off, I saw someone ask if Riley's coming back. I don't think either of us know the answer to that.
But her
What I will
warm
say
up.
is that I watch her Instagram too, and Jess and I were talking about this before the show started. Like yesterday's post was like, "Watch me do my endurance routine on the bars." Like, and she gets up and does a shapash and then like a set of stalters on the high bar and all this stuff. And I'm just gonna say, and again, I honestly I don't even know anything on this. Um, You don't do like it would be one thing if she was getting up and just like I love doing Ricknas. I love doing downies, whatever. But it's a different thing to be like, look at me do my endurance routine. You don't do that just for fun after you've used up your eligibility. I think. Anyway, that's all to say. I think that a lot of the women from 2021, like that were the Tokyo Cycle women, I think all of them, if they want to come back and have a chance, they will have a chance. There's a lot of talent in that generation,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that Katelyn, although she may be the most surprising comeback, since we already know maybe Gabby is, when she got hurt in 2024, she said she would want to try for LA. I think that even though Caitlin is probably the most surprising, she's certainly not the last one that we're gonna have, and we're still more than 2 years away from the opening. So I think it's going to be a very, very fun 2 years.
Yes, I
Yeah.
heartily agree. But speaking of people moving to other countries, like Tiana Samanisekera, like
Mm.
moving to Sri Lanka is so genius because she's automatically an Olympian. Like she guaranteed herself. It depends on what country you're going to. If you're moving to like, a Germany or Romania, it might be harder. But if you're, or England, but if you're, if it's a country that just doesn't, you want to help grow their gymnastics presence, like Jamaica, they've always had teams now, like continuing, like it is developed. And so, yeah, I would say if you're not in the very high 13s, 14s, you don't have a shot on a US team. But your opportunity to switch that's it. Like I think in a month it's over. So everybody that wants to switch has to do it.
Like if they've had a FIG license before.
Yeah. Linda says,
Do we think Ohashi has a chance at 13 plus scores with the training vids rumors? If Riley has 14 plus bars and beam, do you think she has a chance only on two? Uh, I don't know that I've seen any Ohashi training videos. Have you?
yeah, no. There's no public training videos.
Yeah. So uh, I don't know what to say about that one. I mean, of course, like kind of what we were saying, like if you look at her skill set from 2013, which was 13 years ago, yeah, of course, she can put up a 13 on balance beam. And I think on floor, you need like she can be really smart about like double layout, a combo pass, and like a double tuck, clean dance, and get 0 or zero point 0.1 in artistry
Mhm.
and be able to get him at 13 pretty easily. But like I said, I think everyone needs to do something in the all around. Like it's kind of like a Maddie Koshin. Like in Rio, Maddie, you were obviously not planning to use her on anything other than uneven bars, but she competed the all around at trials. Like
Yep.
and she could have done anything in Rio had she needed. And Lori had like an ab injury or something. And I mean, they all had. Everyone always has injuries at the
Yeah.
Olympics, right? And then Riley bars and beam. I think it's the same tale. Like you're gonna like I just think even if it's a 14-5 consistent every time, but you have nothing on two events, I think it's a tough sell. It's a tough sell for me. And I'm not Chelsea Memel, but I can play
And
one
I'm
on
like,
this podcast if you want.
if Suni can only do bars, who cares? If she can't, she could do a Yurchenko full if she's never hadn't done it in 2 years at an Olympics. Like I believe in her, so I would just be like, nope. I know she could. You could get her out of bed middle of the night. She could do a vault.
That
But
one will be interesting to see if if Suni does come back. It will be interesting because I think Jess is another one who really knows he's really like seems to be like he knows the
yeah,
rules really well,
hmm
and he's kind of analyzing everything all the time. And I think he would know like, okay, we're gonna show, maybe we won't compete it, but in training we'll show her doing a Yurchenko layout timer. So they know that she can do that. And like we'll show her doing like a double layout on floor every once in a while, and then we'll focus on the other two. So that's not to say that like she has to they or she or any of them have to compete them, but I think you're gonna have to prove to the committee that you have the capability like in a do or die situation.
hmm I agree. And the good thing is, for Club Gym Nerd members, we have a tool for this.
Oh,
Presenting
ta-da!
the Build Your 2028 Dream Team GymCastic Roster Lab. Not released yet, still beta. But I'm going to show you some of the things that you have in here. So there is a little thing at the top that tells you what the scores are current through. So today, this is current through Pan Am's. Right now, this is a US roster, but TBD on who else is added. You have some filters here that you can, like, if you just want their international scores because you're like, I don't trust those domestic scores ever, you can just look at their international scores. We also have a wish list, which may have people like Simone, Suni, Jordan Childs, Katelyn Ohashi, Gabby, Kalia Lincoln, who's the most important person who should come back. And then basically you can add your people if you want to, you can see if they're injured or not. You can see, look at a little bio. If you're like, who's this person? You can look at their scores. You can click on a score and be like, how are they doing? Oh, this person's on the rise with their scores. But let's look at like how Hesley's doing on vault. She's had like some lower scores, but Pan Am's, they went up. So you can add your people in onto your roster after I remove the score. So let me add some people in. Let me add a Leanne Wong. Let me add a Jayla Hang. And then I'm going to go wild and add Risa Sponda and let's see, Sky Blakely onto my roster over here, which, hold on, Sky Blakely is added. So now I'm going to do submit my team. So now we get a brief. What is the potential team final score? What would their qualification score versus finals be? Who's your top all-arounder? What are your medal chances? It goes through this and tells you why, where your strengths and weaknesses are. It has a radar feature, a little diagram, most medals, and it explains how it came to these conclusions. It has recommended lineups, which is the thing I always mess up on because how I'm always like, no, so-and-so does this beautiful one skill on beam, so they have to do beam, even if they're the lowest scorer. Tells you how it came to those conclusions, medal potential for each event, for each athlete, and then how this team would stack up against the world, which I feel like this is the chart that Brett on the men's side, the men's team coordinator, always has. And this is how they manage without Russia to win a medal and risk taking a one-event athlete essentially in Paris. I mean, if Russia was there, come on. But
so shady.
I mean, it was so smart to do what they did, and we'll see. You never know what'll happen next. But so you have also the strengths. Watch out for lowest, scoring team is beam. So maybe you want to, think about that. And then there's a mixed team strategy on here. You can share this on social media. And you can also see all the sources that are used. Because in journalism, you show your sources. It is very important. So that is available to you guys. When will it be available? Is it available now? Fact checker? Yeah, why not? After this show goes out, this build your own team will be available, and we'll keep adding people and adding scores to it. So excellent job, fact checker, who put this together, and I freaking love it. So you guys can check it out. All right, next, I want to talk about the U.S. championships are this weekend, and this is Gymnastics fan says.
Thank you for building one, so I don't have to use Bezos's WAPO. But well, I think we were about to say the same thing. Is that Emily Giambalvo was part of like the massive layoffs that happened? It was horrible. Like I was in Milan for the Olympics, and people who were there covering the Olympics found out that they didn't have a job. Horrible.
Yeah. And Emily got hired very quickly. I think she was only off for like a couple weeks, and then she got picked up by The Athletic. So I'm sure she's working on something. But I understand not wanting to support the Washington Post and Bezos. World USA Gymnastics Championships are this weekend. It's acro, rhythmic, TNT. You can watch it on USAG's YouTube. And I wanted to ask you, because I asked the athletes about this, do you remember the 2018 bear on the Segway at the St. Petersburg Tramp Worlds? I think Charlotte was still competing then. Yeah, I think Charlotte won something then. It had like that beautiful background. I cannot find a video of the Segway bear, but the athletes confirmed it when I was talking to them before.
I didn't go to that event, so I
I know.
don't
You
know.
missed St. Petersburg, which is the most beautiful city. It's
Well,
like
I've been to St. Petersburg, but I didn't go to those World Championships.
and is it as beautiful as it
I loved it. I mean, as a gay boy, I grew up loving the movie Anastasia. And so
obviously?
so then I had this like obsession through my adulthood to this day with the Romanovs. And so I dragged our friend Jess, another Jess, to St. Petersburg with me in like 2014. We had the best time. And everything was like I probably wouldn't go to Russia right now, but um everything was like basically free for Americans. It just felt like it was so cheap. I loved it. It's gorgeous. The architecture is like incredible. Yeah, I loved it.
Is that where did you guys see the Bolshoi?
The Bolshoi is in Moscow, but we went to the Mariinsky.
Oh,
That's the
that's
big one
fancy.
in St. Petersburg. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to ask Pamchenkova for the video of the bear. Like, if anyone
No,
that
no.
has this, because I cannot find it, and the FIG didn't include it in the highlight videos. I was like, what are you doing? But you can watch those championships. It has started already, so I recommend it because it's really cool. One time, Evan was the commentator, and it was very fun. Melissa says,
Is FlipNow worth it? Are the camera angles good? Do we get to see all the events? Or do people stand in front of the cameras and they are shaky and you can only see 15% of the routines? Um, I would say I have an account that was given to me by USA Gymnastics. Thank you very much. I don't know that I would pay for it. I don't know how you feel, Jess. Like, I'm guessing that they typically for an event like this, what they've been doing is a 4 box. So you'll see every routine, but it's not a great. I'm going to be watching it tomorrow because I'm going to be writing on how the meet goes and how Jade and Katelyn look, especially. Um, but it's not a great viewing experience because you kind of and we may not have us. I bet USA Gymnastics will. I don't know about scores, but I bet they'll get us a start list by tomorrow. But you're gonna need your start list
to
up
know what's
so that
happening.
you know who's going. I mean, obviously, most of us will probably be able to identify if you're watching this live. I'm guessing you can identify what Jade Carey and Katelyn Ohashi look like. But like otherwise, you're gonna like need your start list too. So that's I don't want to like poo-poo on their efforts because I think it's great that they're doing something. But I might wait and see. I bet they'll post routines of. I would bet if Caitlin does one routine, they'll post it, and that they'll post a lot of Jade too. So.
Yeah. I think if you really want to watch someone specifically, it's worth it, but I wouldn't keep it like all the time. I would like for this, but they probably will post it afterwards. What I'm really upset about is like, when you were there at USAG, there was this great system, my USA Gym, and there was an app, and you could, favorite the athletes you wanted to follow, so you could, always go, yeah, gymnastics fan. There's zero commentary, zero scores. And it was so helpful. This app was amazing. Like, I lived on this app. You could see all the E&D scores. It was so great. And USAG got rid of that without replacing it with something. And we
Yeah,
haven't had it forever. There's no scores tomorrow.
I think I know what happened, but I don't work there anymore and haven't for 8 years. So this is my guess. It was programmed by like the son of someone who worked there, and the son did not work for USA Gymnastics. It was like a contract. And it was like I just always remember it was like in some kind of like weird non-standard coding
Mhm.
language. And
Which is
so
smart.
all the updates had exactly because then all the updates had to go through the son of one of my colleagues. And yeah, so I'm guessing so now the dad he stopped working at USA Gymnastics like maybe after Tokyo cycle, somewhere around there. So he's 5 years removed.
Mhm.
And so I think they were like, oh, like we can't get in touch with him or like we don't want to work with that part, but I think
Mhm.
there's some sort of barrier there.
Yeah, it's very good job security for.
Yeah, yeah, brilliant. Be like, oh yeah, it's non-state like the forever. Now I know because I'm still friends with some of we wanted to redo the website because it had the same design from like 2009 to like at least till like 2 years ago. And it was because it had been built on a custom backend by the guy, and like all of the files was like gonna be like such a pain.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the new NCAA rule, the new 5-year rule. It's in place. It starts this academic year. We're talking about Asian championships, and then we have lots of letters from you guys We'll get Scott's opinion on those. But if you want to listen to the full extended episode that we do live and answer everyone's questions every Friday or after meets, you can join Club Gym Nerd at gymcastic.com. And then you'll also get access to the Roster Lab, and you can start playing with that now.
Want to know what goes on our extra podcast every week that some call Gymcastic After Dark? Here's a little taste for you.
In France, it's considered a torture device.
Obviously, I know that.
If you liked what you heard, get more by joining Club Gym Nerd.